Waiting to make sure that we are live. As much as I do this, I'm not always sure sometimes. I'm just checking.
Yeah, exactly.
We are live, yes. All right, so I'm going to say good evening to everyone. This is Sheena Allen, your Caribbean College Planner and Student Advisor, the Student Center. And it's webinar season again. Welcome back. This is college prep season. This is college fair season. And we're back, the first webinar for the season. And we're here to talk about exploring about pursuing a Canadian bachelor's affordably. And we know that this is a time where dollars and cents matters. So we are going to give you as many options as possible. So remember, the Student Center is your official guide to higher education, connecting you with schools all over the world, whether you want to start study in the Caribbean or you want to study outside of the Caribbean. We do have a platform via our Cup Fest, which is our education fairground platform. And speaking of Cup Fest, please note that we have our up and coming education fairs, Cutfest education fairs in October, making stops in Barbados and in Jamaica. So stay tuned for more dates and information on those up and coming fairs. Now, we are here to tell you how to pursue an affordable Canadian bachelor's degree, and I'm not going to be the expert on that this evening. I am joined by Paul Santos from Conestoga College. Paul is the Director of International Recruitment at Conestoga, and he is the point person for the Caribbean region. And he's going to talk to us today how you can obtain a Canadian bachelor's affordably and how Conestoga can help you to do so. We're going to go through a very comprehensive presentation with Paul, and then we're going to have some questions. If you are joining us in the Zoom room, you can put your questions through the Q&A option or the chat option located on your Zoom panel. If you're peeping in on Facebook, good evening to you. And if you have any comments or questions, please leave them in the comment section. I promise I will try my best to get to them throughout the session. This session is going to run quickly, so without further ado, I'm going to hand over to my colleague, Paul from Conestoga. Thanks for joining me this evening, Paul.
Well, thanks so much, Sheena, for the warm welcome and the energy. I could already feel that Caribbean vibe. Thanks so much. And to all of those of you joining us in the Caribbean, thank you so much for joining us in. And I hope to clarify any doubts that you might have and, learn a little bit more about Conestoga, a little bit more studying in Canada. And like Sheena said, how affordable this option could be for all of you. All right, so no further ado, let me get started, and then we have a lot of time for Q&A. That's always my favorite part of any presentation.
Paul, if it has audio, we're not hearing the audio, but we're seeing the
Okay,
image.
let's skip that one then. There you go. No worries. Well, let me tell you about some of the ratings that we've gotten in the last year. So 2025, we were rated one of the best Ontario colleges through Course Compare. So they analyze different higher institutions across the world. So we're glad with that rating. Number one, Canada's top trade school. Yes, construction is a big thing in Canada, and you'll learn around this presentation how important and how quickly the country continues to grow and how focused we are in top trades as well. Number one, Canada's best early childhood education program. So, for those of you that love education, possibly future teachers, and love the little ones, here's an option for you as well. And my favorite part, and this is always good for students, is our 90% graduate employment rate within the first 6 months of program completion. So, what you want to make sure when you're selecting a university or a college, higher education institution, is at the end of me spending all this money, getting that degree, what are the job prospects out there? So, I'm happy to share 90% rate with you. A little bit about geographies just to get an idea where we are located. So we're in Southern Ontario, close to Toronto. We're just about a 50-minute drive to 1 hour drive away from Toronto. And we incorporate these region here. So Milton, Brantford, Guelph, Waterloo, Kitchener, and Cambridge. It depends what you want to study. this is where the campus is depending on what you want to study. So the philosophy behind Conestoga is we only offer programs in certain towns or cities where there is a demand. So where the industry is seeking qualified personnel. Let's say, for example, I know if you want to study engineering, you would be in our location in Cambridge. If you want to study IT, you would be located in Waterloo. This is the high tech IT tech hub of the country. So this is where you will be located. As I said, we're just about a 1 hour drive away from Toronto. And if you have ever been to Toronto in Southern Ontario, there's this very popular highway called the 401. And if you don't like to drive and you hate traffic, well, you could spend a lot of hours here. For us, this is a positive aspect. The more traffic we have on this highway means the more our local industry is producing and shipping products throughout the country to the US, to the Caribbeans, and across the globe. Because of our location, we are located close to the Great Lakes, so products that are produced here in the region could easily be shipped across the globe within a month. If products have to be flown out, we're just an hour drive from the airport, and rail is just down the street. So we could easily ship our products down to US, which is still our top trading partner. So just to get an idea how busy this region is, and this is why we're one of the fastest growing regions in the country as well. So that's another important highlight for you to have in mind when selecting an institution to study as well. What our local regional industry sectors look like right now. So we have a lot of advanced manufacturing, some producing all sorts of equipment, from aircraft components to automotive sector, um, food processing lines. It's what I usually joke. We feed the big city of Toronto. Toronto is all concrete and gray. We are green and rich in agriculture, so we produce a lot of dairy, we produce a lot of fruit and vegetables, and here we are. We feed Toronto. A lot of business and finance, so into the insurance trades as well. Insurance sector, into Bitcoin mining, for example, e-finance. We do a lot of that here in the region as well. Aerospace, as I mentioned, and defense, health, life, and science. So we're a big hub as well for pharmaceutical companies. So those students intending to go on to biotechnology, great place to study as well. And as I mentioned earlier, IT, so information communication technologies, a big important sector. We are considered the Silicon Valley, second Silicon Valley of the North, so the Canadian Silicon Valley. Our Waterloo, city of Waterloo, where we host our School of IT, is where Google Canada selected their national headquarters. So there we go. So if you have a dream of studying, working, or communicating with Google, there's a good chance. We have some students that have been lucky enough to land a job there as well. And you get to see other well-known multinational companies such as Toyota. Toyota plant just across one of our campuses. And this is where they actually produce the Lexus SUV, and it's exported throughout North America. So just to get an idea of what the region entitles in regards to industry. Again, the schools that we have: IT, hospitality, culinary arts, engineering and technology, our School of Trades, creative industries, community services, and health, life, and sciences. And let's not forget our School of Business as well. Now, since our focus today is about bachelor's degree, I would like to outline that we have a huge list of 30 bachelor's degrees here at Conestoga. You're going to notice that I'm just going to outline the difference. You're going to see honors and non-honors. So honors in Canada is a 4-year degree. This is great, and this is important for students that in the future, if you want to take on a master's degree or a possible PhD down the road, this is the stream you would need to study. So honors, so 4 years. This is the Canadian system of higher education. If a master's is not something that you plan in the later future and PhD is not, so a 3-year bachelor's degree is sufficient for you as well. So we also have those models. So you could definitely go through the list. So you could get to see a lot of biotechnology, as I mentioned. We have options in business, uh, computer science and IT, from cybersecurity, from programming as well. In the field of engineering, we have several options. So from mechanical system engineering, power systems, sustainable design, cyber systems engineering, and many more. So we have all these options for you in the bachelor's degree field. Now, how much? This is very important, right? Very important when you're selecting a place to study. And one thing that I like to outline is our affordability in comparison with other institutions across the country. So, a 1 year program tuition, you're looking at around 13,500 USD per year. Average in other institutions across the country, I won't mention names, I don't like to do that, but you're looking at around 20,000 USD to 45,000 USD. So imagine we are a public institution. These other institutions are also public. The credential recognition is the same. It goes through the same Ministry of Education. There's nothing different. And the same orders will recognize them as well. Why overspend? Right? Why overspend? Imagine you are to study with us and one of your friends decides to study elsewhere. By studying with us, basically by year 2.5, you have paid your full program in comparison to your colleague that is still in year 2, for example, at another institution. So that is a savings that you're looking at as well. Another point, and I would like to outline to our students here today, potential future students, is that we're currently offering scholarships as well. So entry scholarships. Let's say, for example, you're a great student with an average from 70 to 79%. We offer you 1,500 Canadian dollars on entry. This comparison is around to 1,100 USD. If you average 80 to 89%, we'll give you 2,000 Canadian dollars on entry, and this is around $1,500 USD. Those of you that excel in studies, 90 to 100% average, we're giving you 2,500, which is around 1,800 USD. So this is an entice to recognize your academic performance by giving you a scholarship on entry. So the cost that I have there above 13,500 does not include this scholarship. So if you're a great student and you're accepted, we will give you that scholarship and the annual fee will decrease as well. Another point I would like to outline to you that I did not mention is what differentiates our bachelor's degree from others. It's our hands on learning experience. All of our bachelor's degrees will provide you a semester per year of a co op learning working experience. And this is mandatory. This is part of your program, actually. In order to pass on to the next grade, to the next level, you need to complete this. On co-op or practicum, you get a salary in most of these placements as well. So it's a paid co-op. So you're not in a back room taking photocopies or, brewing coffee in the morning or so on. No, you're actually gaining experience working on projects. Let's say, for example, you're a future IT engineer, you're actually programming, possibly a small, medium sized enterprise, but you're gaining experience. A lot of the times, what we tell our students is while you're on co op, do your best. Many times, your first full time job in Canada will be through one of your co op placement companies because they know you, they know how well you performed, and it's you that they're going to go offer a job instead of hiring someone that they do not know. So these co-ops are your entry point into your future job prospect in the country as well. And let's say another example that I like to give, let's say, for example, two friends, you come with another friend. One friend does a program at another institution that does not offer a co-op component. You graduate at the same time, you have the same degree. Different institutions, you have the co-op. When you both go, you're applying for the same job. It doesn't matter where in Canada, the companies are always going to ask you one question. And I'm sure this is a global wide question. What experience do you have for us? So companies here, they're looking for experience. You, as one of our students, could easily reply, well, I've got close to 1 year professional experience. Year one, I was doing a co-op in so and so company. Year two, I was working on a cybersecurity project in this company. Year three, so forth. So you have close to 1 year professional experience. Who do you think is going to land that first time full time job? Of course, the person with the student with professional experience. Remember, it's what I say, time is money. Companies today, they're looking for the added value in an employee, and that's what they want. The other factor as well is the career center that we have. So we help students search for your job. We help students, we help you prepare for your job interview, draft your curriculum vitae, apply for the job, how to present as well. And these are all important points. When you graduate years down the road, you want to seek our help again, you're always a Conestoga alumni, and these services are always free for you to seek in the future as well. So your career center is always available for our students. A lot of local companies, they actually advertise locally through the career center as well. So some jobs are available directly to our students. We have our each school organizes their own career fairs as well. So that's another opportunity that we offer to our students to network with future employees as well. So it's a great forum for you to come, meet the companies, drop off your resume, ask questions, network, and who knows, there might be your first time part-time, full-time job just by networking through one of these connections. And of course, where to stay, where to sleep while you study. Of course, we provide residence options on campus, off campus as well, homestay option as well, temporary stay. We are your home away from home. One thing that I like to outline as well, Conestoga, we offer great customer service to our students. Months before you are to arrive in Canada, there are these webinars that we provide for our students into transitioning into life in Canada. Let's say, for example, you are to arrive in January. Oh my goodness, it is cold in Canada. Do Canadians live in igloos? What should I wear? Right? So we'll prepare you for that, what to bring, what to pack, and all of that, where to shop while you land. Let's say the typical questions we have from a lot of students: how can I book my on campus residence? Where can I stay? We'll guide you through those webinars. So we have all these webinars there for you, and they're live. So you get to ask questions. And we always have someone on staff ready to help and support you as well as you transition into student life here at Conestoga. And just to outline what we will be opening very soon, we're investing a lot in esports. It's becoming a very hot topic here in Canada. So we are very soon opening one of the largest esports arena as well. So this is part of our esports management, students from our gaming design program as well. So a lot there. And as I told you, our region is quickly booming and growing. With that comes the need of heavy construction. So we will be opening very soon Canada's largest trade school. Right now, we're one of the largest, but by next year, we become the largest trade school in the country. So that's another good factor for you to outline. With growth, the region is growing. That means there's more construction. There is more, schools opening. There are more hospitals opening. There are more companies moving into the region. So job prospects are positive. And that's another factor that you should be taking into consideration when selecting an institution as well. And I'll leave our contacts here. But of course, the best contacts that you have is always Sheena at the Student Center. She is our official representative there in beautiful Caribbean. And any questions, I'm all available now for all of you.
Thank you so much, Paul. And thank you for that very comprehensive presentation showcasing Conestoga's bachelor degrees. Definitely, you do have a wide range, and we know in the Caribbean, a bachelor degree is very important for many persons across different disciplines. And so, for those of you in the Zoom, I would have shared a link. You can visit Conestoga's dedicated page on the Cut Fest Education Fair website, and you can actually speak to Conestoga through there. Then you also have the option to also apply via the Cut Fest website, and the Caribbean Application Center will process your application for you once you meet all criteria that's required. Now, we have a couple of questions brewing, so let's get to those quickly, and I have some myself for you, Paul. So we have one from Curtis. So he has two, and we're going to tackle them one by one. So Curtis wants to know, he has a son who's interested in aerospace engineering, and the costs are crazy looking. So he requires some advice and guidance on this. Any input or guidance you have for him this evening?
Well, definitely, Curtis. Well, thanks for your question. In regards to aerospace engineering, we don't have a specifically aerospace engineering program, but we do have mechanical engineering that could potentially lead you on a pathway to that variant down the road. So doesn't that doesn't mean that you cannot get that variant. And of course, cost. Yeah, studying in Canada, it's not the cheapest option. We know that. Conestoga is very affordable when you run a comparison with other public institutions are offering as well. So when you do your research and you analyze the cost, we are at a very competitive price point. And then when you compare yourself with the US, wow, there is a big difference, a substantial difference, right? So with many institutions in the US, the price is substantially much higher. And going through that scholarships that we currently offer to students, of course, it's not an exorbitant scholarship that you might see at institutions, but the philosophy behind us is we pass on the final tuition value. So we're not going to say that congratulations, you were accepted to our institution. The cost is $30,000. Here's a $10,000 scholarship. We don't do it that way. We go right directly to the final cost that we pass on to the student.
All right. And one thing I will add to this as well with aerospace, it depends on the age. A lot of engineers that we've spoken to always recommend that you can start very broadly. And it also helps you, especially if you're young, you have to look at the life stage of a student. And you also want to ensure that they have the highest level of versatility when entering the job market for the first time. So quite a few engineers that may go into biomedical at some point or even aerospace, quite a few of them start in mechanical and then they move into their specialized area at some point. So you can look at areas, those schools that offer it directly if you want, but the suggestion sometimes is don't start so specialized at first, especially if depending on the age of your son, if they are of school age, coming out into the job market with such a very targeted specialized degree. You may want to come out a little broadly and then you can navigate or transition into something a little bit more specialized in that. So mechanical engineering would be definitely a good option that you can look to maybe as your alternate while still getting your son to where he needs to go. In the US, there's a wide disparity between tuition costs. It depends on the type of institution. If you're looking at a four-year private, then it will be definitely much higher than compared to some state schools. So Conestoga's price is still lower than most state schools, public school, state institutions. So bear that in mind. So it depends on what's the most you're willing to pay or able to pay. I like to say willing, um, because I've seen people you can't judge a book by its cover, so it depends on your palate and what you want in terms of an institution. But this could be a good option for your son if you are open to starting at the with mechanical engineering. And I hope that was helpful to you, Curtis, and thank you for your questions. We have another question. You're welcome, Curtis. The other question here we have, I'm not sure what this person means, but they're asking, does your school do FRC or First Global?
Great question. Don't understand that question either. I don't know if it's a
Yeah, so could
scholarship
you
or a loan or something like that.
yeah, can you the person's anonymous. I'm not sure exactly what you are trying to ask. So if you can give us a little bit more of an explanation and regarding FRC or First Global, and then we'll get back to your question. I want to talk about eligibility requirements for Conestoga for persons coming from the English speaking Caribbean. So I'm not sure which countries you are from in the Zoom. But typically, Paul, do you want to highlight that or you want me to go through it?
Certainly, I could do that part, Sheena. If I miss something, please correct me by all
No
means.
worries. Go
So,
ahead.
so definitely, we do accept CSEC
Mhm.
minimum grade two for the required subjects, right? Let's say usually, of course, engineering. We're looking at mathematics, right? That is a one mandatory grade that you need. And then students from the Bahamas, if someone here from the Bahamas, for example, of course, the same thing, CSEC as well, GCSE as well, minimum 70% or B in the required subjects. And we also accept GCEs, minimum 70% as well. Sheena, please correct me if I left anything out. You
No,
are
that's
the expert in the region.
No, CSEC is fine. That's the O level equivalent, or GCSEs if they're on a Cambridge program. I know Bahamas, they have their own separate credentials, so you can matriculate into Conestoga at CSEC. You can. There may be some programs in the bachelor degree realm that may ask you can use your CAPE if you are taking CAPE or A levels or even possibly IB, because we do have some countries that have IB schools. So if you are coming within those realms, you can use that as well. But for the most part, you could access or apply for admission on the basis of your CSEC. So if that was a question that some of you had in the back of your minds. I have another question here from Erica. The other person that asked about the FRC has not yet responded, but Erica is asking, does Conestoga have a social work program?
Yes, we do, Erica. We do have a social work program at the college. So that is another possibility. It is not a degree, so it would be a diploma program, 2 to 3 year program. So, yes, but we do have that variant for you.
Okay. Could they use that diploma to matric into a bachelor degree program? And if so, will they be starting from year one
Great
or
question. Yep.
arrangements for that?
Definitely great question, Sheena. So definitely since we're a public institution, let's say for example down the road you want to upgrade that into a bachelor's degree, so that you could do a credit transfer recognition into others institutions and upgrade that into a bachelor's degree. And of course, most of them you would be going into year two, 2.5 to complete the bachelor's in social services, of course.
Mhm. Okay. Thank you, Paul. Erica has a follow-up question. She's asking, what if I have an associate already? Which is a really good question.
That is great. Definitely. So the way it works when you submit your application or credit transfer, you could ask for recognition. We will verify the credits to see if you would be exempt from certain courses at Conestoga. In that case, yes, your program of studies would be shortened. For example, Erica.
It could be looked as a cost-effective strategy.
Exactly. Exactly.
Could use it for that, Erica, if you want to consider it, because obviously, depending on which schools, I know you will have more than one option that you're exploring. So this could be used as one of these scenarios. I like to have persons work with at least 2 to 3 working scenarios. So if I look at Conestoga, this is the plan. If I look at whatever school one or school three, this is the plan. So at least you know if you had to come here, they would assess your credits or courses taken in your associate degree. I hope that helped your answer your question, Erica. If you have a follow-up, let us know as well. Um, Still no further explanation on FRC or First Global. I hope if that person is still in the room, please definitely send us a little bit more detail on what that actually is and see if we can answer. In the meantime, I want to go back to a point you made about co-op and how that actually works because co-op varies and is managed differently across schools. So can you explain generally a co-op? Because some people leave with the impression, oh, it has a co-op, so someone's going to tell me show up at this employer at 9 a.m. on this particular time. Walk us through what that process and how Conestoga administers their co-op program.
Definitely, Sheena, that's a very important point that you bring up, and definitely I'd like to re-emphasize that nothing is guaranteed, right? It's like finding your job. So student will look for the job for the co-op placement. As I mentioned earlier, we do have a career center, and a lot of times, a lot of companies post directly looking for co-op students. So that does make the process slightly easier, but still, you still have to prepare your resume. You still have to send it by email, do a follow-up email possibly, come to the sessions where we'll prepare you for a job interview. So just because the company has selected you for a job interview doesn't mean, wow, it's guaranteed now, right? No, you're still competing with other students as well. So you have to perform well, and we'll prepare you for that as well. So, it is up to the student to guarantee. Yes, we do have a success rate. So students are placed, right? There are a lot of tools that we have in place to prepare you. Another aspect, of course, our career events that we organize, that each school organizes. So here's another opportunity when companies come to the college, they know that they're going to meet with potential future co-op students. So they want to see your resume. They might interview you on the spot as well. So there's another opportunity that you have. And another factor is in school networking, and that is important. I would like to outline that most of our faculty, they are still active in the workforce. So this is a difference that you have from, Ivy League universities or universities where there are full-time professors teaching you. Our faculty, most of them are, even if they're at a full-time schedule, they either running their consulting business or they're still actively working in the workforce. So, for example, a professor teaching you cybersecurity, they're probably doing a contract work with Google, for example, right? Or they have their own company that they do software development and so on. A lot of times it's through this faculty that they could say, you know what, my colleague so and so company, they're looking for people. Here's the email, reach out to them. So networking is prime, right? By communicating. And I know that's something that we have with our students from the Caribbeans. You're very communicative, approachable, and that's something. Use that, right? Use that.
Well, we are most of us are hospitality based, so
Exactly. Exactly. The warmth.
you gotta be warm when you are hosting continuing your industry for most of the countries within the English speaking Caribbean and even the Spanish, French, and Dutch speaking. So I think that's part of our natural nature and charm. So thanks for that. So networking is key. And one thing I will interject and say, having visited Conestoga, I visited about 4 of your campuses last year. If you are someone that's hands-on, and you're a visual learner, you're one that learns by practice continuously, and you need a small environment where you can have more direct access to your instructors. Uh, this is the type of school for you. And then your classroom actually looks like the work environment. So it's not a typical classroom setup. There are spaces for that, but you feel like you're going to work. And so if you think about it, when you actually go on your job, nothing surprises you because it's just a smoother transition into the workforce because you're working with equipment, tools, and with an understanding already of on-the-job training and being ready for whatever task you are assigned to do. So that's one thing that's important to know. Um, we do have a follow-up from that for that other question about FRC. So is from First Global or robotics competitions done by the first company? Because you mentioned the exports and robotics program, I thought you might have it. So that's what they were referring to.
Perfect. So I could not say if it's from the first company. What I could tell you that we do have a robotic program as well at the college. There are competitions that our students compete in nationally and internationally as well. Some students and classes have won awards as well. So yes, if you're into competing into with the School of Engineering, yes, we do enter many competitions as well. Same thing with our School of Creative Industries. We compete regionally, internationally. We've won awards as well. Actually, this year we were placed in top five across the country from School of Creativity. So there's a lot of potential outcomes that you could do as well, right, within the college. So yes, we are competitive in regards to that, and research driven as well. When I say research, it's with working with local companies, like Sheena just mentioned, right? A lot of our most of our classrooms, they're authentic laboratories, right? It's basically you're in your work environment. School of engineering of mechanical engineering. You've got robots in place that are the same that Toyota Canada uses, for example. So when they hire you, they already know that, oh, he or she already knows how to work with these. I don't have to spend time and money training them on the spot because they are accustomed to that. So that is another aspect, of course, for the students.
I remember being at Conestoga last year, and there were the students in the automotive program. It was a combination of students that from across different disciplines, but they were going to Quebec for a car show. So they made a car and they were gearing it up to go on the road
It's
for this
yes,
comp. So it's interesting to
many
see
many
working.
competitions, many competitions, and like I was saying, even research. We work with the local companies, and they bring in their problems. Right, we've got this packaging issue. Right, we're trying to save money. What can we do? Right,
Mm.
so professor and students, they'll gather, work with the company to try to find a solution. So here we go. Who knows, that might be your first part-time job, or that could be your co-op as well, right? So these are all the networking opportunities that we provide to the students.
Good evening to those that joined us after we got started. This is Pursue a Canadian Bachelor's Degree Affordably, and this is featuring Conestoga College, located out in Ontario, Canada. So, if you missed in terms of the cost, the typical cost, tuition cost for a bachelor degree at Conestoga in US dollars equates to about 13,000, about between 13,000 and $14,000 as a range to work with, which is lower than a lot of US schools and in comparison other four-year institutions in Canada. So thanks for joining us. And if you have any questions, put them. If you're joining us on the Zoom, put it in the Q&A or chat option. We're going to take a couple more questions before we close out this evening. If you're joining us on Facebook, you can put it in the comment section. Also as well. We'll take a look. There's another question from Curtis. Thanks for your question so far, Curtis. Last question, I hope. If it doesn't have to be, we can take a couple more. He wants to know about accreditation because engineering, for example, is a regulated profession, and like all regulated professions, having that accreditation, not just for the institution, but the program itself is important. Can you speak to us about that, Paul?
Definitely,
Thank you.
that's a great question, Curtis. So, for example, you probably heard about the story of, in North America, the iron ring, right, for engineers. Our students, you are qualified to receive that iron ring from the order, and that is only recognized engineering degrees. So this is the same order that recognizes the engineering degrees from top Ivy university. So we were one of the first colleges in Canada being granted that privilege. So as you could see, we have this. It's the same accredited body. We've got students that have graduated from us. They are working globally, right? So it's also globally recognized, right? Multinationals, you could be working at a multinational in a project here in Canada and then be shipped across the globe, working further for the same company, but another overseas project, right? So think globally as well, right? So you have global prospects too. Since we're a public institution, it's recognized nationally, so there is no issue with global recognition.
Thank you for that. I hope that satisfies your query. You're welcome, Curtis. I have another question for you. We're going to go back to some of the entrance scholarships that you mentioned. Is there a separate application process for those, or are those scholarships that are automatically considered?
That's actually a great question. So it's automatically considered. So when the student is, of course, admitted, The admissions international admissions team will reach out afterwards saying, congratulations, you've been awarded based on your academic average from high school. This is what you're entitled to. And then the credit will be given to the student at the end of the first semester, for example. So that amount is deposited into your student account.
Okay, great. So that would add towards that will go to credit their some of their tuition.
Exactly, for future use. There we go.
Okay, great. Um, I don't see any more questions, so I'm going to give persons a minute or two if they have any more thoughts. But if possible, for me, Paul, can you reshare your screen with all the bachelor degrees that you
Yes, I
have?
can. Yes, I can. Let me just go back.
In the meantime, Erica, there's a link in the chat option. If you want to apply to Conestoga, there's an easy way for you to do it via the CupFest website. And you fill out the form, put it in, and as soon as our portal to Conestoga opens up for the particular intake period, you just have to send all your documentation there. The only thing you'll be responsible for is an application fee. If we have a waiver and you are eligible, it will be applied so it saves you money on the application fee as well. If you're not seeing it, I'm gonna repost it in the chat again. That's our Cut Fast Supply. If you want, and you can see Conestoga is on the list of schools there. There are no service charges. The only charge there will be the application fee in the event that we don't have an application fee waiver. And the Caribbean Application Center team will get in contact with you with how to make that payable to Conestoga. Um, so there we have the list of a large number of the bachelor degrees ranging from biotechnology, which is a growing field, cyber systems engineering, mechanical systems engineering. Must say that your chair for the mechanical engineering department is one of the most friendliest persons and approachable persons that I've met.
Indeed. Yeah, yes, he is. Yes, he
Definitely a very
is.
pleasant gentleman, and definitely very passionate about what he does at Conestoga. So there's even early learning program development, there's business, so computer science, there's computer science honors. One differentiation, so I know the honors means 4 years. So when it doesn't have the honors, what's the length of the program?
It would be 3 years. If it doesn't mention honors, it would be a 3-year program.
Okay, no problem. So a bachelor degree in Canada could range from 3 years to four
Three
years.
3 to 4 years. Exactly, Sheena.
If you do get a co-op, it may lengthen your time on the program. We have another question about intake. Is intake is year round? Are are there specific intake periods?
No,
Thank
great question. So the intake, all of these bachelor degree programs start in, of course, late August to early September of every year. We do have some options that open in January as well, but all of these for sure in our autumn intake. So what we call here the late August to early September start. So basically, right now we had students that just began their bachelor's degree last week, basically, right? So year one.
Mm-hmm. So end of August, late August, early September start time, and then there are some that you may be able to start.
Exactly, for January intake. Correct.
And there's a growing number of persons that are considering January. So your application will be going in all now to give you some time for January. And the application port for September or August of 2026, around October,
We
end of
we're actually opening, yes, very soon. So don't be surprised. In about 2 weeks, it should be open for only the bachelor's degree programs for 2026 September, August. Will be opening very soon. So keep your eye out, and we'll be reaching out to you soon.
Great. So you have time to consider and remember Cup Fest is available year-round via the website, but we do have our fairs coming up. We will be making stops in Barbados and in Jamaica. And stay tuned for dates and times and locations. Jamaica is going to be a very interesting format this time around, very busy, a lot to be done in just one day, but we're going to be there. The team will be on the ground. Um, so they stay tuned to those dates. Barbados is a very large fair. So those of you who may be actually, Curtis, I will be in Antigua. I will be coming with some schools in Antigua in October as well after our Cut Fest tour ends. So stay tuned on the Cut Fest website and you will see you can come and speak to us directly. It's going to be uh, a free event. So keep checking the website. Join our social media pages. For the persons in my age range, the older folks, we still on Facebook. We're the Facebook crew. But I know that the younger generation, you are on the Insta. So join our Instagram. So you can follow at the Student Center on Instagram and the Student Center on Facebook. But our website is live, always active. The Student Center has its own big general website, which has different types of information too. So you can also take a look at the Student Center's website if you need more detailed and customized assistance. But yes, and if you are from Guyana, we will also be in Guyana also later in Guyana. So Antigua and Guyana, you get a different type of event. It's not a Cut Fest fair, but it is a Cut Fest event. And there will be some schools there to speak to persons who are interested and getting some good free information. So stay tuned. We also have a feature that we are coming out with Ask an Advisor. So those links are posted on our Facebook pages and on our Instagram pages where you can submit a question. And at the end of every week from September going forward, we will definitely answer them via our social media platforms. So you never know, your question can make it, and an advisor will be there, will give you the answer to your question. So definitely use that resource. The links are definitely on all of our bios for you to put your questions in as it relates to college and university. Whether you're studying in the Caribbean or you're studying outside the Caribbean, there is someone that can provide you with some information. Paul, I think that that is the end of our segment. This was definitely nice and lively. I want to thank everyone who joined us on the Zoom, those who peeked in on social media. Um, remember again, Cut Fest is coming in October. October and February are a Cut Fest month. Barbados, Jamaica, we look forward to coming to you. You can visit Conestoga's dedicated page on the Cut Fest website, and you can also submit an application via the dedicated page on Conestoga. We want to thank you for joining us this evening. Paul, you have any parting words, any advice you want to give
Yes,
persons?
yes, I do, Sheena. Well, first of all, I'd like to thank you for your warm hospitality today in this live webinar. And thanks to all of the potential students out there in the Caribbean. Please keep in touch. I know you might have some, questions popping up in the next few hours or days. Reach out to Sheena. If she doesn't know, she'll reach out to us and we'll support you. Down the road, if you want to chat again with us through Sheena, we could definitely do some, a live chat with one of you if you want to chat once again and just clarify some doubt that you might have. Do your research. It's not easy, right? To select where you want to study, country, destination, institution, and all of that, but you're in great hands with the student center for sure. And they know Conestoga well, so reach out to them. And I hope to welcome you either January or next September here in Canada. So take care and have a nice evening.
Thank you so much, Paul, for that. Remember, CutFest website, www.cutfestinternational.com. That's our official education fair website. You can find Conestoga listed there with a dedicated page. You can contact Conestoga directly also via that page, and you can also submit an application. There are no fees associated or service charges associated with you applying through that that portal. The only fees you are typically responsible for will be the school's application fee. So you can see the list of schools. Conestoga is one of the listed schools there that you can apply to. That portal allows you to apply up to 3 schools only. So of those that are listed, and Conestoga is one of those schools. If you are looking to pursue a bachelor's degree, you have a particular budget. So say if your range is between 13,000 to 15,000 US dollars a year in terms of tuition fees, then this is a school for you. On the screen right now, still we have the list of possible options ranging from the sciences to engineering to business to humanities. There is a wide range of bachelor degree programs. Remember, if it's honors, it's going to be 4 years. If it doesn't have honors, it is 3 years. So there is something for everyone. Admission requirements typically for persons applying from the English speaking Caribbean. If you are subscribed to the examinations by the Caribbean Examination Council, you can start the basis being CSEC. So your CSEC could help you gain entry into Conestoga if you have CAPE, or if you're coming from a curriculum outside there, whether it's Cambridge or IB, you can also apply. But if you're someone that only has CSEC, this could be an option for you. If you're a visual learner, you're a hands-on learner, and you want something that is a nurturing environment, small class sizes, more guidance to practical experiences, then this is a possible school for you. If you don't want to feel like you're in a typical classroom, then this is a very strong option for you. We have students there from the Caribbean all now, and they seem to be enjoying themselves, some a bit too much, but they are quite happy and comfortable and doing pretty well in their respective courses. I hope this session was eye-opening for you and helpful. We'll be back again next week and we'll be showcasing Bishop's University next week. They're going to just talk to you generally about studying in Quebec with them. And so, again, webinar season is back with the Student Center. We're going to do a webinar pretty much weekly until we get into the Cut Fest season, where you get to see more destinations, more schools, more different types of strategies for post-secondary education. Good evening to everyone. Thank you.
Goodbye.